Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Sunday, the day after UFC 330. And we had what up, John? We had some upsets. We had some, decent fights, I guess. There were some good fights. Especially in the prelims. But I mean, there was good fights all the way around. I love the minus 1200 lost right away. Yeah, man, the big upsets was crazy. There's two big upsets that happened. It was nuts. But yeah, I mean, it made for a good fight night, honestly, overall. The last two fights slowed everything down a little bit, but we'll get into that. It was kind of to be expected with the women. And I was asking how Orobay versus Amosov would be. Hey, man, I mean, it's still kind of, a valid question. I think Wells just had that hometown power behind him. He was ready to go. Orobay might have had an off night, something like that. For it to be that big of a crazy swing of, odds, with Orobay being so favored and Wells just being such an underdog. I don't know. It's just that 1 in a million shot, and you don't see that often, but when it happens, it's fucking kind of crazy. So, but it was good. It made for, the beginning of a good night of fights. And, yeah, man, it's just, there's a lot of back and forth about whether Ian Garry showed anything in that fight against Makhachev that maybe gave people the blueprint on how to beat him. There's a lot of talk about how Ian Garry actually probably won like 2 of those rounds out of the 5. So they're saying that maybe it was 4-4 going into the 5th. I didn't really see it that way. Looking at the fight, sure, Ian got damage on Makhachev, but Makhachev got that head kick, and he had all the control. I'm not saying that Makhachev won in a great fashion and was super dominant, but it went the way we thought it was gonna go. And yeah, man. Whether or not Ian Garry won two rounds or one judge gave him 2 rounds. So somebody thought so, and other people did online as well, including Ariel Helwani, who came in with a post-show last night. And I listened to that earlier today, and I was just like, wow, I sometimes you're a little biased when you're sitting in here with your boys having some drinks and having a good time, and then the hype and everything kind of dies down a little bit because the fights get a little less exciting. But I mean, it wasn't horrible. It just it did kind of die out a little bit at the end. So, and maybe for me, I was hoping the fight wouldn't go that way. I initially kept saying that I thought Ian Garry had a real good chance to win, and technically I wasn't wrong, considering some people even thought he won 2 rounds. So I'll give them that in that sense. I pretty much thought he only won 1 round, which was the 3rd, I believe. It was the 3rd. But either way, it was a win for Makhachev, but he looked beat up afterwards. That's for damn sure. And when it comes to Dern and Robertson, there's all kinds of controversy around that too, because Dean Thomas, the vegan, did great for himself. What's up, Johnny? Yeah, as far as the controversy with Dern and Robertson, Dean Thomas catching a bunch of shit because he said he's retiring from cornering people. He said he would stick with Jillian to see her out as far as she could go, and he felt like that was as far as she could go. And there's all kinds of controversy about that. People saying that he's a dickhead for saying that. He's pretty much talking down on his fighter, not believing in her, and all this other shit. And it's like, hey, maybe it's just his time. Maybe it's what he thinks. He can't get her any further. Maybe that's what he's saying. Maybe it was poorly worded, but I don't think I think Dean Thomas is a pretty decent dude from what I've heard from him. Jillian should go back to AK. Yeah. Sometimes a team change or a coaching change can make all the difference. It can make or break a fighter, really. And sometimes there's personal issues and disagreements and shit like that that make a fighter change perspectives on things, and sometimes it makes them fight worse, and sometimes it makes them fight better. So, and sometimes it starts off one way and ends off, the opposite. Who knows, man? It's a toss up, but for him to be saying that kind of shit, I get it. It came off wrong. It sounded bad. And if he really meant it in the way that he doesn't believe that she can do any better than that with that performance, which I don't believe, because we saw how she performed on her way up to that spot. I just think it's Dern's time. It's Mackenzie Dern's time. And sometimes you can't beat a fighter when it's their time. And when they're in that flow state, in that era, where things are just going their way. So, but yeah, it doesn't mean that she's done with. But that's kind of how he made it sound, I guess, and that's why people are giving him shit. And it's kind of a shame, to be honest with you, because he's trying to retire and go off and do his own thing, and everything else that he does, and get away from the cornering. And now he just looks bad. I want to see Dern versus Tatiana next. I think, like Tatiana didn't do well against Wei Li. But that's not to say that, she can't do well against Dern. Like I said, I think it might just be Dern's time right now, but that could end at any point in time. Just like we've seen the other big champs this year that I was talking about last night and on Thursday, how all these big name champs that haven't lost in a minute and look unbeatable, were getting beat. Ilia Topuria, Islam, I mean, not Islam, but, fucking Chimaev, Poatan, all those names that happened this year. So when it comes down to it, there's always comes a time when it's over, and sometimes it's sooner for some fighters, and sometimes it takes a while and they get a good run. So that just happens. But coaching changes, team changes, all that type of shit will affect a fighter negatively, positively. Who knows until they fight their fight, and then we see what happens from it, And maybe this is a good thing for Jillian Robertson. Maybe they were too comfortable. Maybe he's just not able to provide what she needs anymore. Maybe he knows that and he feels that. So Tatiana has bounced back with wins over Lemos and Lupi. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt her at all. I don't doubt Tatiana at all, because she was obviously amazing leading up to the loss, where she just did not look good against Wei Li. But yeah, she's definitely bounced back. And I feel like she has a chance against Dern, because she's relentless with those takedowns. And the only problem is it's just going to be another fight like it was, except maybe even less, exciting. We've seen some kind of boring fights with Tatiana, but I give her all the credit in the world for the skills that she has. So I think it would be an interesting fight with her and Dern. We'll see if Dern can overpower her, because Tatiana is definitely rough around the edges. She's definitely aggressive with those takedowns, and she's definitely powerful. So it wouldn't be a bad fight at all. What do you think is next for Islam? I want to see him versus Morales. Yeah, him versus Morales or Prates. I think Morales will give him trouble because of the size. He's got the judo background, and it's going to make it difficult for him, Islam, to just get the takedowns or whatever. Look at how much Islam got beat up by Ian. I think Morales hits way harder than Ian, and if he catches him, but Morales might still be like that younger phenom that maybe has to suffer a big loss again, at a time that he could, catapult himself to like stardom, and a lot of times that happens in a title shot, or a big name fight, you know what I mean? But I definitely think Islam should take on Morales or Prates. Yeah. Really hope they don't do an eliminator, John says, between Prates and Morales. I get that too. I think that would be an exciting fight, but let's leave it for after we see one of them take the title, possibly from Islam, and if they both try and fail, then fight them against each other then. Morales uses more energy than Ian, doesn't move away like him. That's true, but if he jumps in and catches him early, he's got a chance. But I don't have a lot of faith in Morales. I think that his power, he brings something, that a lot of the other guys that have come up against Islam may not have brought. But I still think he's young, man. I think if anybody has a true chance, it'd be Prates, because he's been in and out of the fire. He's, he lost to Ian Garry, but he's He was on a win streak before that. He's bounced back from that since then and done well, you know, beating Leon Edwards. I know Leon seems a little washed these days, but still former champion, beat him easily. Islam's a different story, but I think Prates would be a good opponent to come first before Morales. That's just my opinion, though. But to see either one take him on, I think Morales would serve him good to maybe get one more big fight before he tries to go for the title, especially against someone like Islam. Morales cuts a lot of weight, never been in the championship rounds. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's exactly why I say I feel like he's 100% still the young phenom that hasn't really seen all of that shit yet. Prates has been in there and done a lot of things already. Even though he hasn't had a ton of UFC fights, he's had enough. He's won enough. He's faced adversity. He's lost, you know, all that shit. And he just looks like a vet. You know what I mean? and Morales, he's that young, powerful guy. And I just don't know that he's ready for Islam yet. So yeah, I agree with that. He does cut a lot of weight. Never been to the championship rounds. Cardio might not be great. Islam would make sure to gas out Morales. Yeah, I mean, I agree for sure. I think Prates has a different kind of game plan. He's calm in a way that people don't people don't understand, you know, like when he's sitting there with that look on his face while Leon Edwards is trying to punch him in the face while he's on his back like a backpack. You know, that's a different type of dude. The guy that smokes cigarettes and shit like that is crazy. Doesn't mean that gives him an advantage, but it just means he's a different type of dude. And yeah, he's one of those guys that can take some shit on and make it happen. So I have a little more faith in Prates to try to get it done against Islam next. So let's just hope that it doesn't take too much. Prates has to work on his takedown defense. I mean, who doesn't when it comes to Islam? There's not too many people out there that I would just say, oh, there's no way Islam's going to take him down. Islam takes everybody down. Ian looked like he worked on his takedown defense. Maybe, you know, Ian can help out Prates because they have trained in the past. But there was some shit going on there, you know, between Prates and Ian. Ian kind of confronted Morales about talking shit, but he's got to confront the world. Everybody's talking shit about him. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? But who knows, man? I don't know. That's just one of those things. But before we go too far, unfortunately, I can't really hit the salts because they have worn out, and I got to hit up the homie over at Noctane to hook me up with some new salts. But yeah, still check it out. Noctane smelling salts. The red cap's the most potent. There's other potencies that are lesser than this. This is the most potent one though, and it's the one I like to use because I like getting that effect. Scan that QR code or hit the link in the description below. Go check out their website. Learn more about the smelling salts, what they're used for. Check out all the scents you can add to them. Check out the difference in the potencies and get yourself a bottle. You know, they last a good month, if not longer, depending on your usage and how you take care of them. They're good, though, but they're good, and they work, and mine actually last longer than that. I mean, it's, you know, it's pretty good for a month, but I feel like they last me longer than that, and I use them a lot. So it's a good product. Go check it out, and make sure you get yourself a bottle if you're interested. Check it out. Thanks, Noctane, for the sponsorship. I always like to try to, you know, get people to try it out and go get it from them if they want to try smelling salts because they support me. So I definitely got to support them. Anyway, I do need some salts right now. I went golfing today with Clark and my pops and a friend of Clark's, and it was hot, bro. It was fucking hot. So we got tired. It was hot as shit. And, but you know, still had some fun, and I played fairly decent. You know, I had some holes with that I didn't do well on, and that kind of hurt my score. But otherwise, you know, I'm getting a little more consistent with things, and that's what makes me happy because I've upgraded some clubs that I still had needed upgrades and stuff, and yeah, I got to work on my putting. So, but besides that, it was a good time. How do you think Islam would do at middleweight? I think it's too much, man. He already went from lightweight to welterweight. I don't think he needs to go up another one. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that yet. He needs to, yeah, sure, he's got one title defense now. I want to see him, I'm tired of these guys just jumping up and up and up and up and up. It's like Poatan made sense because he was huge. He cut so much goddamn weight to get to middleweight that it made sense for him to go to light heavy. And then after a few rounds of that and some, back and forth with things on that, it did make sense for him to go to heavyweight because, he's a big dude. So I supported that one a little more. I don't like seeing these guys just go that, like, Islam's so dominant. Just get through this, get through that weight class first before you jump up there. How would he do up there? I don't know. Because if he's getting hurt as much as he was getting hit by Ian Garry, if he jumps up another one, I think that might be bad for him. He might be able to still get people down, consistently, but I don't know that he's going to be able to get away from the big punches that the bigger guy, even bigger guys are gonna bring to him. Minimum 3 defense before jumping up. Everyone wants to be double champ as soon as possible. Yeah, and he's already double champ. So, and I get it. Go for the triple champ status, but not right after your first and only title defense. Like, get some more. There's plenty of there's 2 fights ready for him right now, Morales and Prates. So don't kill him off. Don't kill him off by making them fight each other. Just get fucking Makhachev to fight more often. The motherfucker only fights like once a year, two times tops, and it's always so far spread apart. It's crazy. The while Hamzat situation is irritating, acted like the fight with Yuri was 100% locked in. Yeah, that's why, sometimes I just like wait and see. You know what I mean? They'll talk all the game about how this, that, the other thing is happening until I see it be official. I have my doubts about certain ones. There's a lot of fights you hear about though that there's rumors of and stuff like that, and they turn out to be true, and that's because people have inside information. Whoa, look like, okay, looked like something was there and then it went away. Ian can do great at middleweight. There it is. I thought that's what it said. Maybe so. I think Ian's lost that edge of being able to finish people. It's just it hasn't been there, and he's not getting finished either. So I'll give him that. But all of his fights are decisions, and it's like, what happened to the dude that was taking people out? Islam lightweight resume could have been Charles 2 times, Arman and Volk instead of Volk 2 times, Poirier and Hanato. Yeah, not everyone, and that's the thing. It's like, why jump another one when some people don't even feel that your lightweight reign was legitimized. You know what I mean? Because of the Volk fights, because he fought a guy who jumped up twice. But yeah, I mean, that resume would have been a little more, would have made a little more sense. But either way, except for fighting Arman, he made all those fights. He did very well in all those fights. So you got to give him that. And it just would have liked to have seen Arman get that fight, but it is what it is. I think Islam can beat Sean Strickland. I don't know, man. If Hamza couldn't do it, I don't know that Islam is that guy to go up there and do that. If he proves me wrong one day, great. But I just don't know about that. Islam is top 4 GOATs for me, but I still think Prates beats him. Yeah, man. I think Prates has a really good chance. But that's the problem with this, what do you call it? That's the problem with MMA in general. It's so volatile. Like anything could happen. There's so many variables. Anything could happen at any point in time. Islam got better striking than Hamzat and better IQ. Sure, but Hamzat's a different kind of animal. Being bigger, remember, no one is like a legitimate middleweight. They're always bigger and they cut down. So now you have a guy who was at lightweight, already bigger than that, cutting down to get to lightweight. Now he's at welterweight, supposedly got bigger, cutting down to get to welterweight. And if not, then he's just sitting at welterweight, You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, man. I don't like the jumping around too much. Hamzat, no one was doubting Hamzat until he got beat by Strickland. I don't know. So Islam the same height as Azamat. Johnny, like, it's cool, man. I get it. You think he would do well up there. I just don't. And now you all paying the price. I was telling you guys Wells would win by sub and you didn't listen. Dude, that was an impressive fucking win, man. That really was. I'll give you credit on that if that's what you said. I don't specifically remember that, but I think Islam would finish Hamzat at welterweight and middleweight. Hamzat seems to be more one-dimensional. Man, it's crazy how one loss will get everybody to think that. But that's how it is, and that's what makes it fun to talk about, you know, talk about the situations and stuff going on. I don't know. I just don't think we're ever going to see that fight anyway. Unless Islam decides to jump up right away. Will they let him get up there that quick? I don't know. I think he just doesn't fight enough. So if he fought all the time, then I could see, oh, he's going to get some title defenses out of the way quickly and then jump up. I don't see that happening too quickly, if at all. But that's just my opinion. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to the rest of the show. We got Dana White Contender Series season 10, week 2, happening this weekend. Let's see, why did I not have this up? Where are we at? Hold on one second, because I thought I had this up, but I guess I didn't. That was dumb. There we go. Week 2, Namo Fazil versus Kike Brito is your main event in the welterweight division. Forget Strickland. Look at the Burns and Usman fights. The same flaws shown. Dangerous in the first, but drops off a cliff in the second and third. Yeah, I get it. Makes sense. But yeah, then we got Douglas Rodriguez versus Trent Miller in the middleweight division for your co-main event there. Fazil, I just thought about this. I remember thinking that I had seen his name. Oh, he was in one championship for one fight. I thought I had seen his name come up somewhere else, but I don't remember where. Maybe UAE Warriors. I don't know. His name seems really familiar to me though. So anyway, he's 10-1. Brito is 19-6. We got Douglas Rodriguez versus Trent Miller. Rodriguez 6-1. Miller 9-3. The next fight is Logan Paxton at 10-1 to fight Christian Perez at 14-2. He's fought on Dana White's Contender Series before and lost. Let's see, have any of these other guys? Oh, it looks like Trent Miller fought once before on Contender Series and lost there. So is Brito. So we got some guys coming back. I remember when Namo was undefeated back on the come up a couple years later. I see him in MVP and Dana White's Contender. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. MVP. Good call, Junior. Fuck. I knew his name from somewhere. It was MVP. That's what it was. I didn't even fucking... And I just looked at his record. How did I not see that? Hold on. Is it there? Yeah, it is there. Right there. Yeah, Jake Babian. He beat him by Anaconda in the second round. That's right. Good call, Junior. I fucking completely missed that one. But yeah, he was on MVP. I knew I recognized his name. The recap. Hey, what's up, Rain? How you doing? The recap. I just realized that's what you said. I was like, why do you say just kidding? Oh shit. Yeah, but we got Logan Paxton versus Christian Perez, and then we got Muhammad Ali, which is crazy, versus Alec Lorenz. Ali as well. I've seen him before. I recognize that name. He fought Iwo Baranowski in that 20-second first round finish by Baranowski that got him into the UFC. I knew I recognized his name from somewhere. He's been on the Contender Series before. He's 5-1. That was his only loss on his record. Right? Because they count that one. Let me double check. Oh, no, they don't count. Oh, no, that was a grappling. A lot of grappling matches. Looks like for sure that's his only loss on Dana White's Contender Series against Baranowski. Yep, he was 4-0 before that. Now he's 5-1 against Alec Lorenz, who is also 0-1 in the Contender Series, coming back to try to get a win. 7-2 overall. Lubin, what's up, Lubin? How you doing? Junior, Muhammad Ali and no Emmy MMA fights jump straight to pros. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, we'll see how he does. You know, he got, to be honest, I don't like that for fighters, lack of fight experience. True. Let me see how old is he though? Because sometimes these guys get started late and that's the problem. Yeah, I mean, he's 32. But it looks like he's been in the game for a minute in all the grappling matches. So yeah, it just seemed like he transitioned a little later than, you know, most guys. So now he's trying out the MMA thing. So yeah, I mean, you could be right. That might be a bad thing because the fight experience isn't there. We saw him get beat 21 seconds to Iwo Baranowski, 20 seconds actually. So, but yeah, that should be an interesting fight. And then we got Tanner Tremblay versus Roman Puga. 7-0 for Tremblay, and Puga is 5-1. Neither one of them have been on the Contender Series before, but we have a bunch of returning fighters that have been on the Contender Series before coming up on Tuesday. And you know, I'm just looking to you know, get the word out there about Contender Series, because it is a fun night of fights, because all these guys are super hungry to get into the UFC, and this is their way to get in. They have to put on a great performance in order to get signed with that contract. So they have to fight, and they have to fight hard and put on a good show, and not just be boring and only fight to win. They got to fight to impress, and Dana White's made that abundantly clear in the past. And he also downs on the guys, unfortunately. He downs on the guys that don't put on a good performance, and he lets them know. So when he's telling everyone that he, you know, isn't going to sign them, he tells them why, and he's straight up about it. So that's a little interesting. A lot of people think Dana's a dickhead for that, but I think it's you know, the hard truth that some guys need to hear. And sometimes they just have an off night, and guess what? They've been getting real lenient the past couple of years. Yeah, but he still downs on people. You know what I mean? They have been signing a lot of guys from there, but you know, I think the show's better than the Ultimate Fighter. The Ultimate Fighter is just worn out. It's worn out. It's been around too long. It's just lackluster for the most part. You know, we get some fighters coming out of the Ultimate Fighter, but we haven't gotten the abundance of superstars that we used to get from the Ultimate Fighter. So Dana White's Contender Series is, you know, put out a lot of champions coming from there, a lot of big name fighters and impressive fighters coming from Dana White's Contender Series. So, you know, I still like the show, and it's fights on Tuesday nights. So for me, it's on at 5 p.m. Here in Arizona. So, you know, it's an early start, but I'm usually, you know, starting to make dinner at that time or something like that. So I have it on in the background, and I'm trying to pay attention while I'm doing other shit. So, and it's not bad on a Tuesday either, because for me, my prep goes on throughout the week. Before Thursday, I do little bits here and there. So I never really got the appeal of TUF. Yeah, it produced some good fighters. Something about it just feels weird. In the beginning, it was well worth watching. It was well worth watching. The first probably 10 seasons, maybe 15. I would give it 15 a little bit. It was the reality TV boom. You know what I mean? So now we say, I mean, I have a live stream that I'm watching here on the side because there's like Twitch streamers and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that go on that make TUF just kind of irrelevant at this point with their format and stuff. It's no longer that shiny new thing. And for combat sports to be involved in a reality TV show of sorts, which then they fight, makes it crazy. But now the sport is so big, everyone knows more, especially because of social media. Everyone knows more about the behind the scenes stuff that goes on. So the storytelling, the learning about the fighters, you don't need the show anymore to do all that. So unfortunately, it kind of makes the show irrelevant at this point. It's obsolete when you have a show like the Contender Series. They made their own show obsolete because they brought on the, first they had Dana White's looking for a fight, which, happened very rarely. It was ongoing for a good amount of time in the beginning, but then it started dropping off. So, but when it came down to it, they just made a show that's better, and you don't have to deal with all the outside crap. You got guys coming in to straight up fight on a night, and that's it. And then be told you're not good enough, or welcome to the fucking UFC. So then when the Dana White Contender Series came around, Tough just seemed irrelevant to me. Yep, because you would get much better fighters on there without all the alcohol and TV drama on Tough. Yeah, all that stuff died out after the first 10 seasons. And 10 seasons sounds crazy, but there wasn't really, oh my God, I got the hiccups. There wasn't really all the crazy social media, constant YouTube pages and streaming coming from fighters that would tell you everything that they were doing. So, it was worth it back then. Now, not so much. And it's just gone away. But, fighters still come in and want to do it because it's a way to get into the UFC. Now there's just multiple ways to get into the UFC besides just trying to, run up your record and look really good in the regional scene and hope to get seen, or hope that the word spreads, or you get a lucky chance of getting in there. So, there's avenues to get in, and that's what makes it interesting. So, I think the Contender Series is way more relevant than Tough, but it has been around going for 10 seasons now. And this is when things start to, dwindle out a little bit, but Dana's keeping it, keeping it going, and it's still a way for fighters to come in, and it's still producing, popular fighters and contenders. So it's living up to the name, and for now, it's still going strong. So we'll see how long that lasts. All right, yo, what up, Tyler Fish? How you doing, man? How do you feel about midgets main eventing 331? Fuck. I don't mind, man. I mean, it is what it is. Pantoja and Van. I wanted to see that fight. I wanted to see that come back. So I'm good, Tyler, man. Just a little tired. The weekend's gone by way too fast, and I was out in the sun all day, but it's all good. The only positive is on Tough. They have to have multiple fights in a short span of time, so weight cutting wouldn't be worth it. Seeing more guys fight at their walk around weight. Bro, do you think you would beat Pantoja in a fight? I don't know, man. The skills are different, and sometimes a bigger guy against a smaller guy provides some opportunities for the smaller guys. So Van got new ink on his body. Oh, I haven't seen that. But yeah, that's the other thing about the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, they're cut off from everything, which is good, focus, lock in. But also, yeah, the weight cutting stuff, there's a whole set of problems there. People getting injured. It's not the reality of what you're gonna face in the UFC. It's a hard entry into what you're gonna do in the UFC. Because you're not gonna have to do all that. So it should make it a little easier coming in, but who knows, man? I just think the Ultimate Fighter is just worn out at this point. So let's move on to UFC 330. Go in for the recap here. We've already talked about a little bit of it. Ultimate Fighter should be retired. Yeah, I mean, especially because now the coaches don't even fight each other anymore. That was half of the allure of that show, was you had two fighters coaching their fighters that are coming up, have their teams, and then they have the coaching matchups in between all the little games they would play in between, to win money for their fighters, which was cool. Gave the fighters extra money and stuff. But yeah, and then the thing always was that the coaches were gonna fight at the end, and then there turned out to be all those times that it didn't happen. And now they're even putting retired fighters as the coaches, which could make sense, except that's not what we're used to. So I just got to say off the bat, Jillian couldn't hurt a child with her strikes. She has negative pop on her punches. I mean, you see her other fights, man, and she did some damage against people in the past. So I don't know that I would go that far, but she just did not look good in this fight at all whatsoever. She turned it up at the end, but it was too little too late. And I think Mackenzie maybe thought she could take the round off because of how dominant she was in the first 4 rounds. But Jillian turned it up and wound up being able to, you know, do some damage and stuff at the end. So, and that put some doubt in people's heads about Mackenzie going up against, you know, going up against different opponents in the future. But, you know, again, it was the 5th round. She might have decided to try to take it easy a little bit and then got, you know, a little manhandled by Jillian. No big deal, though. It was too little too late, and she didn't get finished, and that's the only thing that she put herself in danger of by doing something like that. But I just feel like, you know, Jillian has good skills. I just don't think she was ready for that yet. Even though it seemed like I almost picked her to beat Mackenzie, but I was like, I don't know. And luckily I didn't, because you know, between her and Ian, most of Jillian's damaging strikes came from ground and pound. But when she can't get you down, she's a sitting duck, and she's shown this time and time again. Well, and also, you know, it just, she seemed lackluster and lazy throwing her strikes on the feet. It was just weird, man. Did Dean Thomas quit her? I heard he was pissed and won't coach her anymore. No, he said he retired from cornering. She was the only fighter he was cornering anymore. He said he would continue to corner her and her alone until he felt like he could take her as far as he could, and that's what he said. He said he didn't think she could go any further, and so he took her as far as he could. I think that a lot of people took that out of context, thinking that he was downing on her. I think he just saw something there that said, hey, maybe she would benefit more from having a different coach. I've done all I could with her. I don't want to sit here and just continuously defend Dean Thomas. I just don't know. He is one of those guys that'll tell you the honest truth, and maybe he really does feel that way. And if he does, it's kind of fucked up to say it on the platform that he said it on. Maybe leave it for a podcast or something, not directly after the fight and on the broadcast, you know, desk. That seemed a bit harsh and weird. If he had the harsh criticism for her, you know, he should have kept it between them. Or like I said, he goes on a lot of different podcasts. He could have said it on there if that's how he really felt, and maybe taken a minute to, you know, decide how to reword it. Dean a dickhead for what he did. Should have done behind the scenes. Oh yeah, exactly. He should have told that to Jillian behind the scenes on the broadcast. Just seemed like, yeah. And that's what everyone's saying, you know, he made it about himself and stuff like that. And I understand that completely. I don't fully disagree either. I just feel like sometimes things get said in the heat of the moment, but that's on him for doing that. And yeah, he's going to get the hate for it, and that sucks for him. But maybe he should have, you know, thought it out a little more. But also, if he did mean it, I could see it on the other side of the table here. I could see that he meant it in. There's not much more he could do for her. He felt like he did as much as he could for her, and he's been looking to get out of the cornering game anyway, in the coaching game. So maybe he just didn't want to do that anymore, and he just had a bad way of saying it. So, but in the end, it looked really bad, and yeah, he's getting a lot of hate for it, and it is what it is. That's what happens when you're out there in the public, you know, on a national broadcast too, and you know, talking that way. It's like, shit. We'll hear all about it tomorrow on Deep Waters. Exactly. And we'll see how he comes back. Is he gonna apologize for it because of all the hate he's getting, or is he gonna double down? I think he's right about Jillian, and he's being honest, which I get. But again, could have been. Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%, Junior. 100%. He could have done it a different way. That's where he fucked up. So in the end, it just should not have been done where he did it. He could have just said, I'm retiring from cornering fighters. I wanted everyone to know that now, and then discussed it later with her directly, or just waited to you know, provide a little bit more of a structured, less insensitive response that you know, made everybody get mad at him. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what he says on Deep Waters. I totally forgot he was on that. Like I said, I know he's on different podcasts here and there as a guest or anything like that. Deep Waters, I forget about. I really don't like that show that much, to be honest with you. I've listened to it a couple times, and it's just kind of I don't know, just something about it. It doesn't mesh as well as I thought it would. Maybe I got to give it more of a chance. Sometimes sometimes that happens. So especially strange given how much Jillian praised him just for him to do that. Yeah, Poirier and Masvidal are good. Yeah, they're good because they're raw, you know what I mean, and they're real. That's how both of them are. I think it's the dynamics, you know. Dean is like super like hyper kind of, it seems like he's like a little kid just jumping around a lot of times, and then just says crazy, you know, just not crazy shit, but just says shit. And then you know, he's super knowledgeable and intelligent, but I don't know, some of it just doesn't come across the best. And then Chris Weidman is just a little bland to me, I feel like. So Masvidal and Poirier for sure. That's why they're center screen on that framing, because they bring a lot of eyes. Weidman is his own kind of dude. He used to talk a lot of shit. Now it's a little bit, I don't know, something about him being on that, I don't know, it's just not my thing. I don't know, that's all. I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest with you. Poirier coming with the memes, but Deepwater is just kind of nothing. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, let's move into this main card and talk about the fights going from the bottom to the top like we usually do. Esteban Ribovics versus Edson Barboza, man. Barboza, you know, he gave it a shot, and you know, had some early round success in the first round, but you know, then took a lot of damage and barely made it out of that first round, and only made it to the second round, where a minute and 32 seconds in, Esteban Ribovics was able to pretty much put him out on his feet and get him out of there and finish him by TKO. And of course, as we know, Edson Barboza retired. He was super emotional. We saw that on his walkout as well, when he was hugging his kid on his way out. And he, you know, he wound up taking off the gloves and laying him down in the cage. And good for him, you know what I mean? He's on a 4-fight losing streak now, and that was a rough one for him, with a guy who was like at least 10 years younger than him. So yeah, it was tough for him to go out like that. He got beat up. He got that nasty gash in his shin that looked really bad at first, but once they wiped it down, it's like, damn, why do the UFC feed their legends to young guys? Can't they just find another guy to match the energy and not be one-sided smoke session? I don't know, man, because I think they find it valuable to bring up the younger guys by taking out an older guy with a name. And I think that they might, you know, they figure if the guy is still surviving and fighting in the UFC at the age that he's at, he's just gonna, it's just a chance you take. They call it the highest level of you know, MMA for a reason. So they want to put on the fights that you know, make sense regardless of the age or anything like that. But also meanwhile, Chiesa gets Nico, which is how it should be. Yeah, there's times where they get it right, there's times where they get it wrong. I don't know, maybe they thought, hey, if he beats Ribovics, it could be a resurgence for him, and if not, then it's Ribovics getting a big name under his belt and a vet, and it's something that he can build his name off of. 2 weeks in a row now, Elkins, now Barboza. Yeah. Hey, what up? All is good. How you doing, bro? Appreciate you for jumping back in.
What's happening with you, man?
What's happening with you, man? But yeah, it's business, man. It's business for them. That's why they do it. You know what I mean? But I do feel like something like Chiesa versus Nico, that makes more sense. You get two guys that are on, you know, big losing streaks, a little older in the game, stuff like that. I bet you they frame it in a way where it's like, oh, beat this guy, he's a young up and comer, and you know, that could be a resurgence for your career, or you know, something like that. Instead, they're really just offering up an older guy, you know, somewhat of legend status. I wouldn't say full on for Edson, but I mean, he's definitely a vet that had a lot of popularity back in the day, and they offer him up to a younger guy that that they can build a name off of, I guess. So I don't know, I don't fully agree with it either, but it's tough. That's just how they do things. They've done it like that for a long time. So you know, Ribovics closed the distance after he gave Barboza a little bit of space to, you know, work his kicks, and Barboza was trying to get some of those kicks in there, and you know, he landed some and stuff like that. But Ribovics showed off his speed and pressure advantage and was able to force Barboza into some exchanges that he was able to get inside the close the distance and attack him with combinations, knees and punches, and limited Barboza's ability to use those signature kicks that he has. And then Barboza took the damage in the first round. He got rocked late in the round. He got his eye busted open, and then the shin was bugging him. You could see that, but and it was bleeding a bunch. So, but Ribovics came out in the second round, was able to get that finish, and he did a good job of it. And luckily, Barboza didn't have to retire Lean Bisbing Gastelum. That was brutal. But yeah, at least he didn't get like knocked out cold. It was a good stoppage from the ref, and it allowed him to be able to get retire and not be just out cold on the mat, and people wondering why are they talking to him, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was an emotional time for Barboza as he retired, but as I always do, thanks to Edson Barboza. Good luck on everything you do in the future. I appreciate all the memories. Terry Edom spinning wheel kick was just phenomenal. I'll never forget that from Edson Barboza. Watching him with those spinning wheel kicks and the leg kicks and stuff was always fun. So thanks to Barboza for that. What up, Antoine? How you doing? Barboza kind of thick. Yeah, bro. His legs are huge. He's in great shape, man. So at least he can live a good life with a good body. No Diddy. But you know what I'm saying? Hooker versus Barboza, all my favorite fights ever.
No Diddy, man. No Diddy.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's what I'm saying. He provided us with some great entertainment, some great fights, and some highlight reels that you'll remember for a long time. So definitely Hooker versus Barboza, great fight to go back and watch for sure. And then you can go find that highlight of him spinning wheel kicking Terry Edom, which was insane. So good luck to Barboza. Ribovics gets a big win, bounces back into the win column, and is able to end the career of Barboza, and looks good for him. So we'll see what's up next for Ribovics now that he's back in the win column. 16-3 overall for him. That puts him at what's he at now in the UFC? 5-3. So he's been on somewhat of a win-loss type streak since he was on a 3-fight win streak back in 23 to 24. So good fight for him. He gets the win, and that starts off the main card. You think Edson deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame? Not fully, no. Probably not. Barboza might do bare knuckle or RAF. Probably not, man. I don't think so. I think he relies on his kicks too much for his striking, so it would have to be more something like Karate Combat or some shit, if they even do that anymore. I haven't seen anything from Karate Combat in a minute. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about Edson being in the Hall of Fame. We can't let everybody. You can't let everybody in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So for me, I just he's one of those guys. He did a lot of great things, but he never really got a title. A title fight. He never won the title, and he didn't have like outstanding record either. I mean, he's 24-15 overall. He has double-digit losses. Yeah, 18-15 in the UFC. Edson holds records. Yeah, for sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's Hall of Fame status. If you look at his he's got a lot of fucking losses, man. It's insane. And I'm talking, we're talking like spanning way back too. So, Dan Marino in the Hall of Fame. I think today's one of those days where everybody just has a differing opinion from me, and that's okay. I just find it funny. Tua just jumps in and was like, anyway, what's up, Tua? Gelton Almeida should be in the UFC. Here we go. Oh shit. It's all good though. I mean, hey, when it comes down to it, we can't agree on everything. So what up, Tyler Betts? How you doing, man? Welcome in. So yeah, it is what it is. Good luck to Barboza. Let's move on. Mansour Abdul Malik. Hope you and the fam are well. Yeah, we're good too. Yeah, appreciate you, man, for asking. Hope you're doing well and things are going good. Let's move on to oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What did I do? Did I put these out of order? I did. Holy shit. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna fix this before, because apparently I messed this up. Let's see. I don't know why I was like dyslexic today or some shit, because I did this twice and I already fixed one, and all of a sudden I messed up this one, and I'm glad I caught it before I oops. I'm glad I caught it before I pushed the button and was wondering what the fuck is going on. So let me finish fixing this real quick. Sorry guys, I'll be right on it in just a second. There's that, and then let me fix this one so that way that makes sense, and we'll be done. I just put shit in the wrong order, that's all. Okay, cool, we should be good. I say the wrong name, I meant to say Ty. What? My phone just started. Oh, okay, weird. All right, let's see. Next up we had Stoltzfus versus Turner. No, I'm sorry, Stoltzfus Turner. Oh my god, I'm all over the place. Dustin Stoltzfus versus Mansour Abdul Malik, and this was one of your fights that was super big separation in the odds. Stoltzfus was a huge underdog, while Malik was a huge favorite, and Stoltzfus came out with a win and gets a performance of the night bonus as well. As you can see, he slammed Malik with that crazy, that crazy slam that he pulled. This was a crazy picture, that's why I got it, that top one. But in the second round, he was able to get a submission on Malik at 4 minutes and 25 seconds in. And so mine was good, man. It was all right. Hectic as usual, but not too bad. I hope yours was well. Always knew Stoltzfus would win. He's just a lot cleaner than Malik. Only worry was his gas tank. Yeah, the odds were crazy, man. So that was one of the reasons why I was like, damn, why are the odds so like drastic? But he was able to get on top and did a lot of damage from up there. He got Malik to give up his back, and then he tried to get the choke in and finally sunk it in the right way and got the tap. So Abdul Malik, early on, speed advantage, landed some big shots, but Stoltzfus kind of stunned him as well early on too. So Stoltzfus just taking damage, but also turning things around and making Malik tap at the end of everything. Every fight seen from Malik since Dana White's Contender Series, I've been getting more and more disappointed in him. The turning point was the Brundage fight, where I thought Malik kind of sucked. He just doesn't use it advantage. Okay, yeah, I mean, I could see it, I guess. I think Stoltzfus is just one of those guys that he's gotten in some fights, or he's lost some fights that maybe he could have won, but just the way that he approaches the fights, it's like kind of reckless, so it winds up getting him finished, or losing him a fight in the end because he suffers too much damage from that recklessness. But anyway, he gets the win here in the second round against Abdul Malik with the rear naked choke. So that got him a bonus and puts him back in the win column after he was on a 2-fight losing streak. So he breaks that losing streak, gets one of the biggest upsets of the night. Not the biggest, but one of them. And Abdul Malik now has 2 losses on his record and 2 losses in a row in the UFC. He got TKO'd in his last fight against Yusri Belgari, and now he got submitted by Dustin Stoltzfus So Malik mid as fuck. Soldiers had DDP nose, wasn't breathing clearly, and got his nose fixed after the Gastelum fight. Oh shit. Well, we'll see how much good that does for him all the way around, you know. It did well for DDP, so hopefully that's a good thing for him. I just think that Stoltzfus gets hit too much. He takes a lot of damage, and even though he can sustain the damage and or you know, he can take the damage and he's durable, but I still feel like he takes too much damage to, you know, that's why he loses a lot of fights and stuff. He just fights recklessly, kind of. So, but that's just my thought on it. Let's move on to the next fight. We had Jalen Turner versus Cowboy Fernandez. And I was going Turner in this fight, man. I thought for sure this was a close one. It was damn near a pick'em fight, pretty much even. And I thought Jalen was going to get the win here. But a lot of people had Fernandez, you know, going into this fight, and Fernandez got the win in round one. First round, 39 seconds in, finished him early. And wait, what the fuck am I saying? I had it backwards. Oh my god, dude, this is the kind of day I've had because I'm just tired. I think I'm just tired. I woke up early as shit, and then I'm out there in the heat. Sorry, Jalen Turner got the win over Cal Fernandez, and I actually picked Fernandez. I don't know why I was thinking it was the other way around, but yeah, he got the finish early on. You know, looked like the Jalen Turner that you know. I kind of wanted to pick Jalen, but a lot of people were high on Fernandez, thinking that, you know, the leg kicks and stuff with Jalen Turner's legs and how thin they are. No, I went and played golf, man, but it was just fucking crazy hot. It was crazy hot. So I did it to myself, but Stoltzfus is so open to strikes up the middle. That's his biggest issue, I assume you meant. That's how Abus finished him in seconds. Yeah, he just gets hit too much, man. That's just the biggest thing that I see. But yeah, I was out in the sun for too long. I did it to myself, you know, because I went to play golf, but had a good time playing golf, and I'm glad I got to go play. So yeah, you were surprised by this fight, is that what you're saying, Tyler? But yeah, I mean quick ass fight, you know, 39 seconds into the first round, Jalen Turner gets the win. And you know, he just looked quick and powerful, and he was able to get things done early. Not a lot to even talk about with it, you know. Fernandez, you know, he landed some stuff early on, but I mean, this was a 39-second fight. So you know, Turner's now got back-to-back KOs, first round knockouts in, you know, in both those fights. He got a performance of the night bonus as well. Let's see. Yeah, he's on a 2-fight win streak. He beat Edson Barboza by TKO in the first round as well. So he lost 2 in a row, came back, and now has two wins in a row in the first round. I knew I shouldn't have doubted Jalen Turner, and I did, and I picked him. So I picked Fernandez, so that was rough. But Fernandez is now 3-2 in the UFC. This, you know, he was on a 3-fight win streak after losing his first fight in the UFC by split decision. He had that TKO win over Muhammad Yahya, a decision win over Guram Kudaladze, and then that crazy TKO win with the calf kicks against Harry Hardwick, where he got a bonus in that fight. And now he loses to Jalen Turner. So we'll see, you know, if he puts together another win streak. That was 3 wins in a row until this fight. And then we'll see what happens with Jalen Turner, back to getting first round finishes after having a few losses in a row. But yeah, I mean, that was a great win for Jalen, and I like to see it, even though I didn't pick him. I like Jalen Turner, so that was a good fight for him. And that brings us to the co-main event, Mackenzie Dern versus, oh shit, and here we go. I messed it up again. How in the hell did I mess this up again? Okay, I see. I just missed one. Okay, there we go. All right. It's a rough one. It's a rough one today. Luckily, it's just easy fixes. I'll take these kind of mess ups more than like technical difficulties where like the computer's acting up or I'm having internet problems or something like that, I'll take these kind of problems all day over that. It'd be much better if it could just run smooth, but that's just not how things go. So anyway, moving on to the co-main event, first title fight of the night, we had Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. You know, we talked a whole lot about this earlier. Yeah, I just laugh at myself, man, because you know, sometimes it just gets annoying because I'm making stupid mistakes. But I did do my prep in a shorter period of time. Usually throughout the day I'll do my prep and get it all ready, and I was kind of rushed after being tired from getting home and stuff. You know, it's just pressure. I put the pressure on myself, but sometimes I work better that way. Sometimes. And you know, while I'm talking about my downfalls of it right now, you know, sometimes it's just I just get things done, that's all. And I make mistakes, no big deal. So I just make fun of myself because that, you know, it's just better than being too serious about it and getting pissed off, because it does make me mad that I make these mistakes, especially when I saw them ahead of time and I still didn't fix them correctly. But it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you guys understanding and not being like, this guy's fucking all over the place. Because I am sometimes. I am all over the place sometimes. But I'm normal, man. I got a lot of shit going on too. So, but I like to sit down and do this show and talk with you guys. So I appreciate you all for supporting me and understanding my, you know, shortcomings sometimes. Anyway, and I keep myself in check by continuously, you know, by being hard on myself. You know, but I try to give myself a break sometimes and just not let it get to me. I just you know, I take a minute to let it go, and I just make fun of myself to laugh about it, and then that's good, and that's it. Jillian is one fight away from being more Brazilian than Dern. The fabled Brazilian. What's up, brother Ken? Hope everyone enjoyed their Saturday. Hey, what's going on, Xavier? How you doing, bro? Yeah, man, appreciate that, Antoine. Yeah, so we have Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson, and you know, we talked a lot about this fight earlier, and you know, on top of just looking damn good, I mean, Mackenzie looked good physically and looked good strategically in the fight. We were making comments throughout the fight, but of course all you gotta do is look at these pictures and understand why. I think Clark was being a bit harsh on Jillian Robertson because he was just not not seeing past the physical parts of things, but it made for a laugh. We were laughing, so it's all good. Jillian just looked lackluster, though. She looked like she just lazy strikes, lazy takedown attempts in the beginning. It almost looked like, you know, almost like a starstruck moment, or like not believing that she was there, and you know, just folding under the bright lights. Dern curvature was distracting at times. Yeah, man. When they have that top down shot of her being on top of Jillian Robertson, and you just see a perfect heart, you get, you know, all I see is heart eye emojis. But yeah, man, it is distracting at times. But and the weigh-ins, holy fuck. Yeah, good thing that's not how it looks when we're watching the fight, but still distracting. But the fight itself, you know, it wasn't the most exciting fight ever, but when it comes down to it, Dern showed her, you know, why she's the champ. And while Jillian just didn't really put up the best fight possible, yeah, I talked about this a little bit earlier, Antoine, but yeah, the way I felt about Dean Thomas, I feel like he fucked up. He definitely shouldn't have said it in the way that he did. He definitely shouldn't have said it on the broadcast. He should have waited for the podcast, if anything, like, you know, for tomorrow for Deep Waters. Maybe that would have been a better time, or maybe not have said it at all and just only told that to Jillian and worded it differently when it came down to talking about retiring. So yeah, he fucked up, and he's definitely getting the blowback from it. She has nothing outside of the grappling. You talking about Dern? Yeah, I mean, I get that. Look at Jillian's older fight. Oh no, look. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that one first. Look at Jillian's older fights with Barber, Ricci, Santos, Maverick. They're not too different from this fight. Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought she was doing well leading up to it. I understood why they gave her the title fight. You know, maybe this just exposed all of the, you know, but it's like everyone does that. As soon as they lose, it's like, oh, she sucks. And I get it. You know, you're bringing up good points. But also, you know, maybe I was tricked. Maybe I was misled that she had something, you know. I've seen her lose before, and I thought she bounced back well, and I thought that her wins were pretty impressive. And you know, she may not be like an overwhelming, like super. Also, Jillian's last 5 wins have gone on a losing streak since. Well, yeah, but you know, maybe she's the one that put them in. I don't know, man. You know, when it comes down to it, she looked really bad in this fight. So we'll see what she does in the future. Maybe she learns from it, bounces back. Maybe a new coach will change that for her. Maybe she was stuck in a rut of you know, something that needed to change, and finally this will be the change that she needed to lose this fight like that, to see her downfall and her shortcomings, and realize what she's lacking, and maybe it'll make her work harder, and maybe a different coach will have seen those things and is able to it kind of annoys me seeing champion level fighters unable to inflict damage on the feet. Yeah, Tyler, yeah, I saw I've talked about it a couple times already. But yeah, I mean, I get that, Junior. When it comes down to it, the women's divisions, I mean, there's just not a lot there. You know, even Kayla Harrison, who was super exciting in the PFL, comes over to the UFC, and you know, she's doing things, you know, she's the champ or whatever, but she's not getting those big finishes like she was in PFL. Different level of competition here. And then she gets hurt, and it's been forever, and we still don't even know when she's fighting again. So it's tough, man. It's tough, and the women's divisions just are tough. So I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the view while Mackenzie Dern is the champ, and see who comes and takes that belt from her. If Wei Lee comes back, I think that she'll beat Dern, and that's unfortunate for Dern, because then people will say she was a paper champ because Wei Lee, you know, vacated the belt, and then she comes back and fights for it again and wins it, which means, you know, everyone's gonna just discount Mackenzie Dern as a champion, even though she's already defended once. But who knows, man? You know, it is what it is. That's how the game goes. That's what makes it interesting for discussions and stuff. So yeah, I get it. But Mackenzie, you know, she did her thing. She was, you know, dominant at times, and Shevchenko, Wei Lee, Namajunas all can crack on the feet 100%. But, you know, they're all, you know, Shevchenko's dwindling out. She hasn't really been stopping people. It's like watching Ben Askren strike. It's baffling at times. Yeah, but it's the women's division, man. That's just how it goes, unfortunately. But Shevchenko just has not really been the finisher the way that she was before. You know, some of her fights have been a little lackluster. People are starting to doubt her. Wei Lee, you know, now that she lost, you know, we'll see what happens with her, but I mean, she's definitely still up there, and she can definitely, you know, but Namajunas is the only one to have really had her number besides, you know, losing to Shevchenko, who's bigger, and it just seemed like a bad idea for her to go up after watching that fight. But Namajunas, you know, yeah, but her, you know, she's been involved in some really bad fights in the past too, so not the sport I grew up watching. I can't watch the grapple fest with no submissions and ground and pound. I understand that, Haynes. Appreciate you for jumping in and giving your input. I fully understand that, which is why, you know, you got all these guys, these analysts, and these other fucking like people that have MMA shows and stuff, just, you know, talk about the strategy, the fucking this, that, or the other thing. But, you know, when it comes to the fans, they want to see action. They want to see finishes. That's why I kind of emphasize a little bit on how many decisions. Just because a fight went to decision doesn't mean it wasn't a fun fight. We've had plenty of decision fights that were fight of the nights because they were fucking exciting. There was, you know, one guy or one girl just could not put the other one out, but they tried their best to take each other out completely, whether it was crazy transitions into submission attempts on the ground or major strike fests. And that's what fans want to see. You can't always deliver on that, especially if you're trying to defend your title and don't want to lose. But I feel like Mackenzie had such an advantage over Jillian from the get-go that Hoke versus Blades is what we want. Yeah, I mean, and I fully understand that. I respect the strategy fights, strategic fights. I respect the, you know, maybe not fighting safe, but I definitely respect the skills that people have that keep, you know, that keep the fights kind of boring sometimes because they dominate on the ground like that. But you know, I also know what all the fans want because that's what I want most of the time. So when it comes down to it, it's just tough, man. It's tough when the fights aren't all, you know, blood and guts. But yeah, just to see two guys damn near, you know, beat the hell out of each other and knock each other out, that's always going to be what everyone wants to see, you know, the blood and guts of it all. And that's what we saw all the way, you know, a lot of times coming up in MMA since the beginning of the UFC. So yeah, it is tough, and that's why, you know, the UFC is more about the three letters and you know, the business of it all. It takes you know, the fighters and the fights themselves take a backseat to those three letters in the popularity of the organization. It's the truth. It's the sad truth. So at least Rose and Shevchenko have shown the ability to hurt. I don't think Jillian has that ability, even if she tried. I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, but I mean, for Shevchenko, I just feel like she's lost that little edge of finishing people, and you know, I feel like she was so far off, like second play, you know, second to her was so far away in the past, and now she's struggling with some of these fights against people in her same weight class. Not struggling, but, you know, struggling to get the finishes, and everything goes to decision. She's not dominating in the striking and stuff like that like she used to. So, well, you know, she's been around for a bit and she's been a champ for a while. Maybe she's just bored with it, who knows. And Rose, well, she's been involved in some stinkers herself, you know, and those were bad calls on either her coaching or bad just bad game plans or some shit. But some weird fights in there, especially the one where she lost the title in the worst way possible to Carla Esparza, you know, with that horrible fight. So but yeah, she can definitely still, you know, she's definitely still got power on the feet and good skills to finish people. So, and I love Rose, don't get me wrong, I'm a big Rose Namajunas fan. So Shevchenko, I've always been back and forth on a little bit, but yeah, I'm a big Rose fan. So Jillian, she didn't show much in this fight, and I understand why everybody's doubting her. And we'll see. Does she learn from this? Does she grow from this? And does she get back at any point in time to fighting for the title? Who knows? And, you know, she showed some promise in that 5th round, whether or not Mackenzie was not really, you know, trying as hard or whatever you want to say. But maybe she tried to take the round off, and, you know, maybe she was a little gassed. But it was too little too late. So maybe Jillian will find some maybe she'll find some confidence in that, but still learn from her mistakes and still learn from the loss and come out better on the other side. Who knows? Anyway, let's move to the main event, and that is obviously Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Garry. And man, this fight, again, you know, a lot of the same as the co-main event. And while I really wished that Ian would have shown a little more, he did get his hits in there, obviously, because he beat up the face of Islam Makhachev. The scorecards were 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47, which means one judge gave 2 rounds to Ian Garry. And I thought Ian Garry for sure won 1 round, but I didn't think he won 2, but they gave it to him. You know, and you know, this put Makhachev breaking a record 17th consecutive UFC victory, beating Anderson Silva's previous 16, where he was tied with him before. So now this puts him above at 17, standing alone. I think it was a clear 48-47. Clear 48-47. Okay. You know, like I said, I you know, that's to me, it doesn't make a difference. It's either 48-47, 49-46, one way or another. Ian lost no matter what, because 3 of those rounds were won by Islam. What happened to damage scoring? Yeah, and that is kind of weird. The problem is Islam kind of held Garry in the 4th round, but either way, Ian lost. Yeah. Yeah, I do think that the damage should cause for more, but at the same time, it's like we weren't seeing the kind of it wasn't the kind of damage. It was the kind of damage that was happening on the inside. There wasn't like clean, clear shots. You know what I mean? Because even us watching it here, we're paying attention to the fights, and I'm like, where did he get all this damage? You know what I mean? Like it's not like those. It was few and far between, but yet, shouldn't we judge the fight on whose face looks worse? No, we can't, because there's guys who have a lot of, and I know this isn't the case with Islam, but if you put that kind of thing in play, you know, the guys that have a lot of scar tissue, like Nate Diaz, like Darren Elkins, who just retired, like Edson Barboza, who retired, who had the fucking gash on his eye because it just seems to happen every time he gets hit there. You know, if you just go off the damage only, it's just not proper, and it's not always the case. Somebody could just get hit and open up cuts because they have a lot of scar tissue on their face. You know, it wasn't meaningful damage. It was all those knuckle punches in the clinch. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like the head kick from Makhachev that knocked down Ian Garry. That was damage that it's like that happened. You know, and while Ian Garry didn't show damage, you know, it still is something significant. He knocked him down from that head kick. Now I know Ian caught Makhachev with a head kick at 1.2. But scar tissue is a stupid point because guys cut easier. Huh? That's exactly what I'm saying. Scar tissue is a stupid point because guys cut easier than others. Yeah, because of the scar tissue. So I don't know if you're trying to agree with me or disagree with me on that. So, you know, damage, going by damage might be what you mean. But I don't know. To me, that's what I've seen. The guys with scar tissue, they cut easier. And a punch that might not cut one guy will cut another guy, and that doesn't always say that the fight was you know. Now I was responding to the okay. I got, well, yeah, that's why I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute. GRP rules for more than 3 respect interactions, and yeah, and yeah, I was getting to that too. The whole like hugging and kissing each other and fucking all that shit. They tried saying Islam was gonna beat Strickland. There are weight classes for a reason. Yeah, but he's making his way up the weight classes. But I said that earlier too, though. I don't want to see him go up another weight class. I don't care if people think that he can beat Strickland. He's got to prove himself in this weight class first. Like the Topuria thing, I didn't agree with that either. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, let's get some, you know, work your way through the top part of the division first before you just jump to another fucking weight class, especially when you're trying to jump to 3. Poatan was a little bit of a different story, but I still kind of feel the same way about that. So yeah, I definitely don't think that he should be jumping to another weight class just yet. This is his first title defense in this weight class, and you know, he's got some guys that are on their way in, that are right behind him, ready to fight him, that could give him problems. So, but yeah, the scar tissue thing, yeah. Okay, I'm glad you agree with that. I'm glad we got straightened that out, because I was just like, wait a minute. It sounds like you're saying the same thing, but I'm confused. So now I understand it. So we're on the same page, Junior. They were trying to say he was clearing out 170 already off one. Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid. Excuse me, I got the hiccups again. Damn it. I agree. Let's go back to the old ways. We need like 3 to 5 title defenses minimum. 100%. If you have title contenders waiting in line to fight for that title, which is not like we have a big backload right now, but when it comes down to it, there's 2 guys waiting in line that have you know, pretty serious reasons to give them a title shot. So it's like Umar versus Merab. Merab wore more damage but won the fight. Yeah, yep, that's a good point. That's a damn good point. So yeah, we can't just go off of damage alone, but damage should be included, and Islam did suffer quite a bit more damage than fucking Ian Garry did, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So but yeah, you know, Ian Garry showed, you know, he showed some stuff in there. That's what some of the debate was. Did Ian Garry give a blueprint on how to beat Makhachev? I don't know. Because in the end, Dana was pissed about the whole hugging, and he said he should have had a better sense of urgency going into that 5th round instead of worrying about hugging and kissing and showing respect. Leave that shit for the end of the fight. Do that at the end of the fight. Some people don't even like that. Some people think, oh, how do you get into a fight with these motherfuckers and then they're kissing and hugging each other? Like, I hate when a guy goes after another guy and pulls him over and he's like head to head with him because he pulled him in. The guy clearly doesn't want to be there and deal with that shit because he just lost. And then you want to fucking be there and all up in his shit, saying some dumb shit that, who knows, I get it. Some guys share prayers and well wishes to each other and stuff like that. Cool. But you can also, message each other on fucking Instagram later or talk in the back, in the cage, dap each other up, quick bro hug or something, and then get to your fucking, post-fight, interview. I don't know. For me, it's like weird. Morales will have a killer instinct for sure. My main issue with Islam that every time he says he's going to try to be active, but then disappears for 8 months. I wish Islam fought more. 100%. I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. So yeah, we already talked enough about it. It's like, it is what it is. Makhachev got the win. I feel like he did win 3 out of the 5 rounds, regardless of how anybody feels about any other fucking rounds. He at least won 3 out of the 5, which means he deserved to win. The 4th round, might as well put it into, might as well put it into, okay. But yeah, in the end, Makhachev won, and Garry showed, kind of wanted Ian to win because I know he'll be more active than Islam. Yeah, and I was kind of thinking that too. I almost picked Ian to win because I was kind of hoping for the same thing, but it just didn't happen. So yeah, that's your main event. Let's check out the prelim cards and talk about those, especially the first one, which was the biggest upset win of the night and was pretty crazy to see happen. We had Miktabek Orobai versus Jeremiah Wells, and everyone was basically talking about how Jeremiah Wells is just getting fed to the sharks with this fight against Orobai, with how big of an underdog he was. At one point in time, it was at like minus 11 or plus 1100 for fucking Jeremiah Wells, I heard. How did the wheel go? Did you spin it? I did. I lost to the wheel this week. We'll actually get to that here in a minute because 1% on Tapology. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. Orobai was a minus 1600 favorite according to Tapology, and Wells was a plus 900. But I heard, like I said, in some books, it was like minus or plus 1100 for fucking Wells. Anyway, comes in, gets a performance of the night bonus because he takes out Miktabek Orobai in round 3 after surviving the first 2 rounds. Orobai pretty much controlled those first 2 rounds with his wrestling, top control, ground and pound, making Wells fight from underneath. Wells, stayed dangerous on the feet and eventually was able to find the point in time where he was able to turn things around in the 3rd, landing that big, a hard right hand to hurt Orobai, and then shot in for the takedown. Orobai shot in for the takedown, but Wells caught him with that ninja choke, and as you could see, just dragged his limp body across the mat as he like put him out cold with that ninja choke, which is insane. 39 years old, Jeremiah Wells, Philadelphia native. I think he might have actually I think he was thinking about retiring or did retire. I'm not sure. It was kind of hard to tell. Say on Instagram, a Kyrgyzstani kid crying when Orobai lost almost made me shed a tear. Shit. Yeah, I know. It's Orobai, man. I thought for sure we've seen him, go through some crazy fights, and I thought for sure he was gonna win. It was just one of those crazy things, man. Huge underdog gets the win, and the way that he got the win was nuts too. So it was a fucking fun fight to watch, to be honest with you, and crazy to see how it came out, how it happened. But Orobai's a beast, man. He'll bounce back, and he'll have some more good fights, and I'm sure he's gonna come back and win and learn. It just seems that Orobai doesn't have an immense grappling advantage. He looks kind of lost. Brandon Rebecca and now Wells. Yeah, GRP rules more than 3 respect interactions equals removal of gloves, automatic bare knuckles fight. Not a bad shout, bro. Not a bad shout. He outlasted him. Oro had his chances in first and second. Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have, he could have put him away, but he just, Jeremiah Wells showed that he can, withstand all of it and made it to the end and found his moment. I want Oro by his champ, but man, he needs to fix his striking. Yeah, too many wars that could go either way, and it's rough when you get into those kind of crazy fights, just chaotic. But congrats to Wells, man. That was an insane fight and crazy finish. So then we move on to Neil Magny versus Ramiz Brahimaj, and once again a come from behind win for Neil Magny. Round 2, 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the second round, we get a TKO win from Neil Magny. Brahimaj just started off good, man, using his wrestling, ground control, neutralizing Magny during the first round, and then Magny, withstood the pressure and kept a cool head, and then started picking apart Brahimaj, sorry. He started finding some success from the top position and kind of wore him down, and then eventually he pinned Brahimaj against the cage and started unloading those punches until the referee stopped it. So Magny, 25th UFC victory win for him, tying Charles Oliveira for second most UFC wins of all time behind Jim Miller, which is crazy. Magny's had a ton of fights, obviously. I guess he extended his records for welterweight appearances and wins. Damn. But yeah, the vet just takes out Brahimaj and shows that he's not done. That's just kind of where Magny is. He's a gatekeeper of sort, and Magny's a real life Minecraft, and yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he's just a gatekeeper, man. That's how it goes. If you can't beat him, you got some work to do, and if you do beat him, it'll jump you up a few notches, and it's a good win for you. So that has to be a record. I wonder who has had the most catchweight fights in the UFC. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably one of those crazy records you got to look for, but I'm sure you can find it. So yeah, Neil Magny with the win. And I think he was coming off a loss. Yeah, Yaroslav Amosov, he lost by submission. Before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak, so we'll see if he can get back on a win streak again with this win over Brahimaj. And Brahimaj was coming off of a loss as well to Punahele Soriano, which he also had a 3-fight win streak before that loss. So Brahimaj has to do some work so he doesn't get those 3 losses in a row. But we'll see what's up next for him. And Neil Magny, will just see who they either feed to him or feed him to, because that's kind of the way that works now with the position he's in. So next up, we got Lucas Fernando versus Rafael Tobias. Yeah, this one lasted to the 3rd round as well. And we had Lucas Fernando getting the round 3 TKO win, 1 minute and 10 seconds in, with the knee to the liver up the middle, kind of on that side. And you saw the delayed reaction of Tobias, after you get hit to the body like that, and he doubled over in pain, and of course Fernando took advantage, jumped on him, and was able to finish him in the 3rd round. So it was a little bit of a back and forth fight, but Fernando, just landing that knee was the final that was the final shot that landed, that was able to get him the finish. He did look like a better fighter overall over Tobias, but his speed and accuracy and just fight IQ was good. Putting that knee up the middle was good for him. Tobias has been a punching bag in his 2 fights so far. I mean, he takes them, but Fernando just looked like he was more technical. And Tobias is 0-2. He lost a decision to Dair Nurgazai in his first fight in the UFC, and then lost to TKO to Lucas Fernandez. So yeah, man, not good for him. He's got to come back and get a win. Next up, we had Vicente Luque versus Tracian Gore. And this one was a little crazy because it looked like well, not looked like Tracian Gore got some teeth knocked out, or a tooth knocked out, which was kind of nuts, as we see them holding the tooth in their hand, and then when he's talking you can see those bottom teeth. But you know, competitive fight. We had a unanimous decision win for Tracian Gore, 30-27 on 2 of the scorecards, and then 29-28 on the third. You know, Gore's striking overall activity was kind of enough to win him the rounds, and Luque had some moments in there, but Gore pretty much did a better job at controlling and with the exchanges and stuff. Teeth, was it teeth? Okay, I couldn't remember. I remember seeing the one tooth. I didn't know if there was multiple, but yeah, it did look like there was multiple that were gone. I just wasn't 100% sure. Gore lost teeth during the fight, yeah, and still, you know, managed to get the decision. You know, he held his composure, didn't care about it, was just like, let's go. So you know, he was Luque was yeah, I mean, I don't know, it was just like, it was a weird kind of fight really overall, but a good one, especially when you find out he's losing teeth and shit. But yeah, it's a significant win for Tracian Gore, and you know, he fought through some adversity. It was kind of an ugly fight, but losing teeth and stuff like that is not ideal, but it still gets the win. And yeah, and it was a good fight for him. So moving on, we had Dante Johnson. He's a savage, he deserved it. Had Luque sub and had it till he didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's a good win for him for sure. So especially when stuff like that was going on throughout the fight. Next up, we had Dante Johnson versus Eric Mechanico. This one was a quick one. 1:38 seconds into the first round, Dante Johnson gets the TKO win over Eric Mechanico. Johnson came out aggressive and pretty much, you know, speed and power, showed off his speed and power, and that, you know, they were a problem for Mechanico. He never really had time to like establish anything, especially that grappling game or anything like that. Johnson landed that punch in the 1:38 seconds into the first round, and yeah, he stays undefeated at 9-0. And you know, when it comes down to it, you know, he just showed that an impressive quick fight. 1:38 seconds. I mean, you know, there's not a whole lot to talk about because he did all the talking in the cage and just finished that fight quickly. So I guess yeah, I was reading about this too, which I just read on a note that one of the, I guess he hit a referee with an elbow and the ref was shooken up, man. I saw a video and I was trying to like read through what was going on, but it didn't have a lot of info. But I saw that yeah, he got caught with an elbow or a punch. I'm not exactly sure which one it was, but Dante Johnson caught the ref, and the ref was pretty shaken up afterwards. So good on the ref for, you know, still doing his job and finishing the, you know, stopping the fight and ending it and stuff like that. But yeah, apparently got hit, which is crazy. But yeah, Dante Johnson with a big win in the first round against Eric Mechanico. Next up, we had another Johnson, Charles Johnson, Energy versus Eduardo Chapulin. This was a third round finish for Charles Johnson with a crazy ass submission, the Scottish Twister, 1:36 seconds into the third round. It's crazy, man. Yeah, definitely a comeback. You know, it was Chapulin stepping in on short notice after Ochoa was forced out of the fight. Chapulin, you know, he looked dangerous. Those leg kicks were nasty. His striking was good, and he even got a knockdown in round 2 on Johnson. But Johnson is a dog like that, man. So it's tough to count him out. And he had, you know, Chapulin had the eye poke and the illegal knee that got him, you know, penalized and stuff. But Johnson was like, I'm not gonna let it go to the scorecards. I'm gonna fucking win this fight. and he did that in impressive fashion with that crazy submission, you know, the Scottish twister or whatever. Is that what it's called? Scottish twister? Yeah, it's just a crazy ass submission, as you can see in that lower picture. Yeah, Chapolin coming in late notice against a vet like Charles Johnson. You know, he could have gotten a big win out of it, but I give him props on the skills he showed, and that, you know, he was doing well until he wasn't. And then Johnson, you know, capitalized on a scramble and you know, took Chapolin's back at one point, and then transitioned it into the Scottish twister and got the win by submission. So impressive, you know, somewhat rare submission that you don't really see a lot of times. And also with the comeback win, making it exciting, and we got, you know, went into the third round, but it was well worth watching, and there was a lot of variables and stuff in this fight, and all of it made for a great fight. So good for Charles Johnson, and congrats to him. And I'm sure we'll see Chapolin again, because he put up a good fight until he got caught. So yeah, and then that leads us to the last fight in the prelims, which was Chidi Njokuani and versus Joel Alvarez. This one slowed things down, man. I was like, fuck, I hope this doesn't mean we're gonna go into the main event or the main card with some slow fights, because this one, you know, is a unanimous decision win for Chidi Njokuani, 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. It was a late notice you know, matchup. Alvarez stepped in for Jeff Neal when Jeff Neal you know, kind of dropped out of the fight a couple weeks before the fight happened. So Njokuani, you know, he's a bigger dude. He kind of used his size and his leg kicks to you know, stifle the movement of Alvarez a little bit, and he made it difficult for him to kind of get his offense going. So the calf kicks and the inside leg kicks that he landed on Alvarez was a good base for him to you know, to get his striking going and just really limit the ability of Alvarez. So Alvarez just really didn't establish any kind of rhythm, couldn't really get anything going with Njokuani. So you know, it is what it is. Like, Njokuani just imposed his will on him, and you know, it's not like he got completely dominated, but I mean, it was an obvious win for Njokuani. You know, he led with the range, good technical fight for him. The leg kicks and stuff really did a lot of damage on Alvarez, and Alvarez just didn't get enough going to try to win him the fight. So Njokuani gets the win by unanimous decision there. And yeah, some crazy fights, some come from behind wins, and yeah, just a good overall night of fights. So can't complain too much about it. Let's take a look at the Fight Wheel predictions versus my predictions. Unfortunately, I lost this one finally after a few weeks of getting the wins. I got the Caio Fernandez fight versus Jalen Turner, got that one wrong, but so did the Fight Wheel. But the difference coming that Abdul Malik lost to Stoltzfus in that underdog win for Stoltzfus, and that was the only fight that me and the Fight Wheel had different. So that's what made the difference in the outcome there. So I went 3-2. The Fight Wheel went 4-1. No big deal. Like I said, it's the first time I've lost in a few weeks. So, you know, not too bad. Not too bad at all. And that'll do it, man. That'll do it for the recap of UFC 330. I'm about to smoke before work. How's this week looking for you? I'm hoping it's looking better than last week. But we'll see. There's always some shit going on. So nothing too crazy that I know of just yet, but you know, we'll see how work goes. Thank you all is good. Appreciate you, man. Smoke weed every day. That's for you, Antoine. You know, have a good night at work, and good luck with all that. Randy Johnson, man. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate all you guys for jumping in and checking out the recap and interacting with me. Thanks for all the support as usual. Thank you to everybody who joined in with the watch party last night. It was a good time hanging out with the boys, you know, having some drinks, talking some shit, and just having a good time. It's always fun. So let's see, what do we got coming up real quick before I forget? Next fight is next weekend. It is Anthony Hernandez versus Gregory Rodriguez. Robocop versus Fluffy, Sergey Spivak versus Vitor Petrino, RDR versus Roman Dolidze. Damn, those are some good fights. Carly Judice versus Jaisla Chavez, and Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Shamil Gaziev. Damn, not too bad, man. That's a decent fight card. So yeah, come back on Thursday. We get some rest, and thank you for yeah, sure. Thank you, Antoine. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, thanks, Rain. We'll see you guys next time. Come back on Thursday for the preview of next weekend's fight. I don't even know where it is. I just completely haven't even paid attention to the next upcoming fight. So but yeah, we'll get the preview in on Thursday, so come back on Thursday for that. Don't forget to hit the like button before you get out of here. If you're watching this later, still hit the like button. It helps the channel grow, gets it out there for people to see. Please sub if you subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with somebody. Tell them about the show, get them in here talking about fights and stuff. Thanks for doing a great job every time you hit the stream. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Xavier. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the support. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.